you've heard of grants, but what are they really? Who gives grants? Who gets grants? What do they pay for? If you've ever thought, that's not for me, this video might change that. I'm Tiffany, and after years of winning millions in grant dollars, I started the Grant Chatter YouTube channel to show you how to find, write, and win grants, and also share the latest news on what's happening in the world of grants for your small business or nonprofit. By the end of this video, you'll know who gives grants, who gets grants, and how you can too. But let's start by getting rid of some misunderstandings about grants, and that includes busting a few myths you see floating around all the socials. So what is a grant really? The short answer, a grant is a sum of money provided by a public agency or a private organization to an organized entity, such as a small business or a nonprofit, for a specific purpose and a specific period of time. A grant generally has these characteristics: a formal application process, reporting requirements, time restrictions, limitations on how grant funds are spent, and they are highly competitive. Even though there are billions in grant dollars available every year, there will never be enough to support all the millions of small businesses and nonprofits in the U.S. alone. Here's what a grant is not. It is not a loan. You need no collateral, and it doesn't have to be paid back. It is not a donation from an individual. That is a whole different field of fundraising, from a few dollars over the holidays to many millions received from someone's will. One more thing. I have to bust the biggest myth about grants. When you hear grants are free money, do you believe it? I know everyone says grants are free money because you don't have to pay it back. But grants will cost you in two ways: time and, ironically, sometimes money. Time to find them, time to write them, and if you get the grant, time for mandatory reports and meetings. You might have to pay taxes on the grant money. That's usually for small business. Nonprofits are pretty much exempt from that. You might have to spend money to get things in place, like marketing plans for small businesses or strategic plans for nonprofits, because most grant funders require that you have these in place before you even apply. In the grants biz, this is known as grant readiness. You may decide to hire a grant writer or a consultant, especially if you're going to pursue a grant opportunity that could result in tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars or more. What do you think? Did I bust that myth? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've already gained some new and useful information, please take a second to hit those like and subscribe buttons. It's a big help for the channel, and even if grants aren't free money, this video is free. Now, let's move on to see who gives grants, and I think you might be surprised at part of my answer. I'm going to cover the three primary types of grant funders. Our first step is to understand why they offer grants in the first place. Each type of grant funder has very specific goals, which I'll spell out for you. Let's start with the biggest one, government grant makers, which can be local, state, or federal government agencies. This is public money, meaning that they convert a portion of the taxes that we pay into grants. Here's a very general overview of how this works. The largest percentage of government grants start at the federal level. The usual federal grant recipients are universities, research labs, nonprofit organizations, first responder agencies, businesses, and state, local, and tribal governments. Also, in very general terms, there are four types of federal grants. Competitive funding is where you apply directly to a federal government agency, and the award is based on the merits of your proposal, which includes how well you work to meet the agency's goals. Formula funding is based on formulas, such as the needs of a state's population. It is not competitive, instead going to predetermined recipients, usually state or local governments, which can then offer grants. Applying for grants from these funds means accepting tight restrictions on spending closely connected to federal regulations. Continuation funding means that another year of funding could be awarded to a current grant recipient based on the recipient's progress toward meeting the government agency's goals over a period of years. Not meeting the goals means the grant is not continued. And pass-through funding is awarded by federal agencies to state agencies or institutions. The state then has some flexibility on spending those funds to meet the state's needs. They could go to local governments, or you could apply to them at the state level. If that seems overwhelming, then note that you heard me say that a lot of grant funds go from the federal government to the states, so you can start there. For example, if you're looking for health funds, start with your state's Department of Health. For businesses, look to your local economic development agencies, and so on. They often list the grants available on their websites, and you can subscribe to a notification email service to learn when new grants are available. State agencies also offer webinars on the grant process. 2 more quick notes about government grants. 1, federal grants can and do change based on the results of an election and a new administration's priorities. For example, we are in a new administration at the time I post this video, and we have all heard about the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, which has the potential to change federal grant making for some time to come. I've covered the current situation in a recent video, which I linked in the description below, and I'll have more to come if things change in a significant way. And 2, if you're watching this video to find government grants for your personal needs, such as food, healthcare, or housing, you're actually looking for government assistance, not government grants. But not to worry, I'll have more information for you later in this video. Let's move on from public grant funds to private grant funders, meaning that they do not use tax dollars to provide grants. Corporations have 2 goals in the grants they award. They have community benefit in mind, but the grants are also focused on meeting specific corporate goals. Corporations like Verizon and Walmart have grant programs, and I've covered them here on Grant Chatter. Those videos are linked in the description below, but I'll give you a quick overview to show how corporate grants work. Verizon's grants are based on building technology for small business, since of course they are a technology company. So the community benefit is supporting small business growth, and the corporate goal is to build users of their products. Walmart grants support nonprofits and local governments that are located near Walmart stores or distribution centers. The community benefit is that local organizations can receive dollars or products for their services, and the corporate goal is to be seen as a contributing member of the community, hopefully building customer loyalty. But don't think only about large national or international corporations. You can also look at local institutions. For example, a bank or a credit union will offer grants to create a specific community benefit, and it is very often financial literacy. The corresponding corporate goal might be to build a new customer base. Another corporate option might be a local utility. For example, I know of an electric utility that has grants to help spur interest in science. The community benefit is strengthening local education, and the corporate goal is to encourage interest in a new generation of people to come work for them. Our 3rd grant funder is maybe the least known and understood, the private foundation. Private foundations are often started by an individual, a couple, or a family to build a formal and long-term way to support their philanthropic interests, covering anything from animal welfare to workforce development. Private foundations vary greatly in size. Small family foundations may give a few $1,000s each year to local charities. But they can also be huge, like the Ford Foundation, which has nearly $17 billion in assets according to the latest information, and awards grants across the globe. And here's a private funder that I talk about very often in Grant Chatter videos, the Community Foundation. If your nonprofit is small or new, find your local community foundation. I've linked a free online finder in the description below, and go to their gatherings, take their grant workshops, get plugged into your surrounding community of others providing services. There are lots of opportunities to collaborate, receive grants, and save some of the strain of trying to do it all yourself. For small businesses, your local or state economic development agencies also work to provide networking sessions, free classes to gain business skills, and ways to become eligible for grants. I have a free online finder for you as well, linked below. And that's just a sampling of private funders. Did any of them surprise you? Let me know in the comments. How about all those invitations to apply for a grant that come to you from out of the blue through social media or emails? Did I suggest that they are funders at all in this video? I did not, and I will not, because they are all scams. So let's call that Mythbuster number 2. A real grant is one that you have to find on your own. They don't come to you first. So in all that mix of grant funders, who should apply for them? Let's see where you line up. Let's start by busting yet another myth, and that is that only big multi-million-dollar organizations can apply for grants. It's true that they have an advantage, such as staff who are devoted to grant work, like me, At the time I post this video, I not only run the Grant Chatter YouTube channel, I work full-time for a large regional organization, and all I do is grants. It's also true that the vast majority of grants are awarded to nonprofit organizations that have been awarded that status by the IRS. But who else can apply for grants? Small businesses, grants from private funders are usually based on who the business owner is, such as a veteran, a woman, or a Black business owner. Or grants can be based on the type of business, such as boutiques, restaurants, or tech services. And in most cases, small business grants are part of a package of free services such as business training, networking, and mentoring. Government grants for small businesses are often based on achieving national or international goals, such as gains in science, tech, health, or space. And they can also have economic development goals, such as preparing your products for export. Tiny nonprofits and grassroots organizations, there is a push nationwide to support you so that funders can bring dollars closer to the need at the neighborhood level. This is most often from private funders. Government agencies haven't yet given up on their intense documentation requirements, which usually leaves you out. But here's a pro tip that can help you work through that limitation. You can get what's called a fiscal sponsor for public or private grants, meaning that another nonprofit applies on your behalf. That is not a simple arrangement, but it is not unusual. I have a 3-minute video that explains how this works, linked in the description below. Individuals, you are so often looking for grants to meet your personal needs, such as roof repairs, medical help, or food. I already mentioned this earlier in the video, but I have to be completely honest, and this is yet another big myth to bust. Grants are not for you. Government assistance, government benefits, and local services are what you need. I have an entire video that walks you through the process of finding that assistance, those benefits, and those services through a free non-government website called findhelp.org. They're not sponsoring this video. I'm just impressed with what they offer. That video is also linked in the description below. But if you're an individual such as an artist, you might be eligible for grants at the state or local level. They often have grants to build up the local arts community, and your work might be a fit. Check out your local state arts agencies or councils. That should be a quick Google search to find. We've covered a lot of ground already. What is a grant? Who gives grants? And who gets grants? And we've busted a lot of myths. I hope you've already found this video to be the ultimate Grants 101 as promised, but we are not done. Now I have some little known facts that will move your proposal way up the list as a possible winner. You might think that you'll figure out how to spend the grant money after you get it. Truth is, knowing exactly how you'll spend grant money is one of the most important questions you'll answer in the grant proposal. The reason is one of the most important yet little known facts about grants. You're not only looking for support for your cause in a grant proposal, you're also promising to help the grant funder meet their mission as well. What does that even mean? Here are a couple of examples. Let's say a small nonprofit applies for a grant from a local credit union. That credit union has a financial literacy grant program, like I mentioned earlier in the video. The nonprofit submits a grant proposal for support of an after-school math tutoring program. The credit union wants to support financial literacy, the community benefit, on the way to the corporate goal of encouraging new credit union customers in the future. If you were the credit union, would you award the grant to the math tutoring program? Here's a small business example. Let's say a new commercial cleaning business has their first client and is looking to attract new clients. They decide to look for grants for a new online ad strategy. They could apply to the Verizon Grant I mentioned earlier to get that tech funding. There are several steps to get to that grant proposal, which I cover in the video about this grant. The proposal itself asks why the cleaning company started the business, how the business will grow, and exactly how they would use a $10,000 Verizon grant to make that happen. This is an actual Verizon Grant Award winner who used that money to invest in updated equipment, boost their ad strategy, and support payroll for their growing team. So their grant proposal showed that the funds would take the business to a solid new level. Their story is on the Verizon Grant website, which I've linked in the description below. What else will grants pay for? Nonprofits write grants to support programs for people in need, such as those individuals I mentioned earlier who need help with food, home repair, or maybe health care. The grant might pay for supplies, some staff costs for those who lead the program, and maybe something else like transportation costs. Nonprofits can also receive grants that help them plan for future growth, which might include staff training, equipment, construction, or renovations. But that same grant funder often doesn't want to support the costs behind the scenes, such as maintenance, utility bills, or back office staff salaries. There are exceptions, but they're rather uncommon and infrequent. Let me know in the comments if I should make a video about that. Small business grants can pay for staff, inventory, planning, or advertising, like I mentioned with the successful Verizon Grant. More and more, small business grant funders require you to register on their platform, be active within their business training groups, in the hopes that those activities will help you get some of those setup tasks done on your own. Then the grant might be the cherry on top to purchase something you need. And now let's talk about actually applying for a grant. The process looks intimidating, but once you learn the basic flow, it's totally doable. I'm going to give you a brief overview on grant writing in this 101 video because I have so many Grant Chatter videos that go into a deep dive on how to apply for a lot of specific grants. That said, pretty much all grants share these common traits. Eligibility. Make sure your small business or nonprofit is eligible to apply. For example, a small business grant program might be run by veterans and is designed to only serve veterans. A state Department of Education might have a grant to support workforce development, but only community colleges are eligible to apply. Yes, they can get that particular. Once you have found a grant, read the guidelines well, including the fine print. I know, how boring, but they are your GPS to get you from start to finish. Their guidelines might seem trivial, but that funder wants it done just that way. And it could mean the difference between getting considered or rejected before they even read it. For example, are you going to email the grant in, or do they have a grant portal? Do they accept documents in only one style, such as Times New Roman 12-point font double-spaced? And yes, I used to see that all the time. Or what I see all the time now, does their online application form have a limit of words or even characters to describe your program? When you write the grant budget, make sure the numbers add up. I use the calculator app on my phone or my laptop to double check my entries, my formulas, and my math all the time. And for sure, never miss this, the deadline. Grant funders get so many more proposals than they can ever fund, so the first way to shorten that list is to not accept proposals received after the deadline. Yes, there have been exceptions in my decades of grant work, but if I relied on that, my success rate would be nothing like it is now. Or maybe just nothing. You can learn more about how I achieved that success rate in this video, where I share my journey of securing over $1 million in grant funding in 1 year. I show you how I approach grants and give you a bunch of tried and true pro tips in the grant funding process to help you overcome challenges and feel more confident writing your first or next grant.